Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collections. Today I want to share with you guys another fragrance review. So this is another cheapie but goodie, and you guys know if you watch me for a while, I love getting inexpensive fragrances and blind buying them. You know, now I do a little bit of research. Again, not much, just for granted, that kind of stuff. Other YouTubers, mainly Red Essence first. When it comes to, he's kind of my go-to when it comes to shout out. When it comes to fragrance reviews, I just feel like when I get a review from him, I'm not trying to paint the picture that there's not other great reviewers. But one thing I kind of feel like when I see a review by Red Essence, he's actually genuinely telling me what he gets out of the fragrance and providing really great information. Where other guys, I feel like they read the notes and they kind of script their review, you know. Not all, and I'm not disrespecting, nothing wrong with that. I'm just stating that, you know, a lot of times for me, I find it hard to believe somebody can pinpoint this big, long, drawn-out story about. And I'm not saying anything. You guys know, sometimes you guys tell me I talk too much. I don't mind a long-winded review, but I don't, for me, I guess because my nose, I have a really hard time pinpointing notes. And a lot of times it does require me to kind of know what's in it first. You know, I can pick out oud, or I can pick out rose, you know, vanilla. Those are easier ones. So those notes I don't really have a problem with. Pineapple, you know, but when it comes to other notes, flowers I'm not really good at other than rose. You know, lilac, I could probably pick that one out. But sometimes I actually have to read the notes, wear it a few times, really get to know the fragrance before saying, hey, you know what, yeah, I kind of get that. Or does it smell like something else? You know, and I always like to share that with you guys too. So again, my reviews, if you haven't seen me before, when it comes to fragrances, I have over 150-ish colognes. Always got more fragrances coming in the mail. I blind buy fragrances. I buy fragrances that are ones I know that I like, whether I see them in the mall or whatnot. But most of the time, I blind buy. Now, a lot of times when I do review as well, I do work with a lot of companies. I've reached out to many brands, and many brands reach out to me, and I've shared a lot of different fragrances on the channel. So I have a pretty broad spectrum of fragrances that I have smelled and enjoyed, and I am very open-minded. I do have my favorites. I would say if I had to pick, am I a freshy Oriental, you know, am I a daring fragrance kind of guy? I think, you know, I tend to gravitate more towards warmer, sexier. You know, it's kind of hard to describe if you're not. If you know what I mean when I say sexy fragrance, then you get it. If you're used to smelling fragrances and you're into this fragrance hobby, you know, I'm into the ones that are a little more, I guess, daring and sophisticated. I don't mind freshies, but my go-to is more of like ouds, tobaccos, woods, earthy, manly, kind of a little rougher fragrances, right? Again, doesn't mean I don't wear the freshies as well, but I always get pretty excited when it comes to those other fragrances. So this fragrance here is one that's been reviewed many times. It is a cheapie, and this is by, again, Vicky Tiel Ulysse. There's the box, of course. You guys know I never really get too involved in the presentation, but that's the box, 3.4 ounces or 100 mils. Bottle, this is kind of cool. It's like a frosted glass. You have the logo or the brand name Ulysse, or the fragrance Ulysse, and you kind of have what I would think is, again, I'm not really the smartest dude when it comes to, you know, my history and everything everything else, but yeah, but I mean, like, as far as I can tell, I don't know if this is like a Roman scene on the bottle or whatnot. Again, remember when I do a review, guys, I'm not here to educate you on everything about the designer and the brand and the nose, the perfumer. I'm just really just trying to, you know, give you guys a review, telling you what I think of the fragrance. There's lots of other guys who do it differently, so that's how I do it. So you do have kind of like again, a frosted glass. It's very, I would say, ornate, this bottle. It almost looks like, as far as the color, it's like a lime green. This is almost like something I think that if I have to, you know, kind of pick, like, how to describe this, it's very dated to me. You know, this looks like it would be something I'd find, you know, as a child in my grandfather's medicine cabinet, you know. And I have to tell you, too, I was a little disappointed when I first got this fragrance, because I'm always expecting, you know, again, when you watch or when you read other YouTubers and you read other people's reviews, some people really have an amazing way of kind of telling this story, this fragrance journey with each bottle. And, you know, for me, I just either enjoy it or really enjoy it, or is it just something that's kind of generic? And one thing that disappoints me, I think, the most is when I get something that's just like, you know, generic, you know. smells good, nothing to write home about, not really gonna get noticed. Somebody might say you smell good. I like things that just are like, ooh, something kind of bring that a little bit of that sophistication out, something a little unique. I don't like to smell like I just came out of Sephora. I kind of like things that are different, things that you're gonna have to kind of seek out. And these kind of fragrances you'll smell differently. And what's great about this, gentlemen, guys, there's no excuse not to smell good, right? I mean, I don't care. I know everybody's different, and to each your own. If you don't like fragrance, and you just don't like deodorant or whatever, it's not a problem. There's lots of dudes out there. Lots of people don't wear colognes, but I think a fragrance is a really nice way to kind of I don't know, project a little sophistication. Everybody likes somebody who smells good. I mean, I don't think anybody, if you smell somebody with nice, they smell good, they smell fresh, whether it be a nice fresh shower scent or they got their hair done or whatever, I think everybody really can appreciate that. And again, fragrances for me it imprints on my mind. It reminds me of specific moments in my life, and scent is extremely powerful. So let's talk a little bit about this. So when I first sprayed this, I just got a very generic, in the beginning, I just said, oh man, nothing really, no woods. I didn't really pick up any woods. I just kind of got just a fresh, after shower kind of scent. And I have ones like that. Like a perfect example of a good smelling after shower fragrance is one by like Banana Republic, Slate. Another one by Tommy Bahama. Tommy Bahama, very cool. It's just a nice smelling, very pleasing scent. Something you could wear in bed and not be, like I wouldn't wear something very strong before bed, if I'm going to hang back, kick back, watch a movie, I don't really want anything too cloying, right? So this, when I first smelled it, I was like, all right, this is pretty generic. But as I've worn it a few times and as the scent kind of changes a little bit, I've realized this is a great scent. It is a fresh scent. It is a safe scent, but there's something different about this scent compared to some of the other freshies. Again, very cool. I can take it or leave it. Some of the other fragrances I had that smell, they all, again, remember guys, most of them all smell great, but it's nothing really sophisticated to me. So let me talk about the notes in this. So top notes here, I think I'm saying this right. Sorry. Mignonette, I don't know what that is. Yuzu, which is kind of like a lemon, I think, again, educate me. I'm just giving you guys my best guess here. Lime, mandarin orange, and neroli. And then, of course, in the middle notes, lavender, hawthorn, nutmeg, carnation, clove, woodsy notes. In the base notes, you have musk, vanilla, oak moss, benzoin, and patchouli. So what do I get with this when I spray this on? So I will tell you, and I've grown to really like this fragrance. So if you're used to fragrances that are more daring and sexy, you may not think this might just, again, like my first impression on this was like, all right, it's just it's a fresh, bright scent, very summery, very springish. But as it changes, I think the vanilla comes out more. And again, I can't paint this huge, crazy, long picture on exactly the journey you're going to get with this fragrance because everybody's nose is different. What I can say is the price is amazing on this. It's under 15 bucks. And the longevity is, I'd probably say on something like this, you're going to get about 3 or 4 hours where it really starts to drop off after like 2 and 3. But you'll still smell it. And it does change. Again, what do you want? It's an inexpensive fragrance, but it's a kind of thing that you can just kind of keep with you and keep refreshing yourself. Now with this, I go 10 sprays of something like this. Again, my nose, I put on 10 sprays of something else today, and I got in the car with my folks, and they were like, oh, it smells good. I can smell it pretty strong. My dad couldn't smell it. I couldn't really smell it. It's on me. I'm used to it. But when I went outside, I could smell it kind of coming off me a little more. So you kind of have to learn. I think you just kind of have to educate yourself with these fragrances over time. The nice thing about it, I think that anybody's going to like this fragrance. It's not something that's very daring or something that's not, appealing to the masses. What I get with this right off the bat is I do get a large blast of neroli. So this has a barbershop vibe to it. Now, that's just my opinion. Anytime I think of neroli, I do think barbershop vibe. This neroli definitely lasts a lot longer than something like 4711. That fragrance, within 10 minutes, it's gone. You can't even smell the neroli. So this definitely has a really nice, fresh, citrusy neroli vibe. Very fresh, very clean, very similar to like when you go to an old school barbershop and he smacks a talcum powder on the back of your neck. similar, again, not exact, but and remember guys, when we compare fragrances, when we look at things like, even you go to Fragrantica, this fragrance reminds me of this. We're gonna have things that remind us of things, but they're not meant to smell like that. So this isn't to be compared to 4711 or talcum powder or anything like that. It's just my interpretation of what I get from this. I definitely get that lavender, and I've always liked lavender, but it's not. It's very mild. It's not heavy, because lavender can be a little strong. As far as woods, very mild woodsy notes. I don't get a lot of that. What I do get is that vanilla and oak moss in the base. And I think that's what really makes this fragrance. And it takes it from just being a fresh barbershop kind of, you know, after haircut kind of vibe, out of the shower, fresh, clean, to a little bit creamier, a little warmer. And that's the best way I can describe this. Again, I wish I could sit here and pinpoint all these notes and give you guys this big long story, but that's the thing about YouTube, that's the thing about fragrances. It's all very subjective. Everybody's nose is different. What I can tell you is that whether a fragrance is good or not, and whether it's something that I wear. And this is something I've been gravitating towards for the last couple of days, and I absolutely love it, because it's something that I don't think you can really overdo. You can really go to town on this, and you're going to smell good. You're not going to blast anybody out of a building. It's a very safe scent, and yeah, it's just good. It's just good, guys. You're going to like it. Again, I do think that there is a little bit of a dated kind of quality to this. I wouldn't say this is a fragrance that you're going to automatically picture an older gentleman wearing, but I can kind of see where, and I hate saying that, and I said it many times in my videos, I don't like to pinpoint on who should wear a fragrance, because I think that you can do whatever you want. You can wear what you want, you know, you can dress how you want. It doesn't matter your age, all those things are very subjective. All those things don't matter what other people think. You always want to do what makes you happy. But I do, you know, I do understand where guys are like, all right, well, this is more masculine. When we think of younger dudes, we think of things, and honestly, unfortunately, you know, I don't know why it gets a bad name. You think Axe, you know, Axe and Bod body sprays, but those are fantastic scents. Like, Axe makes a lot of really great scents, and honestly, if you were to go ahead and take some of the Axe scents and compare it to some really higher end luxury brands or higher end stuff you find that are sophisticated in, you know, in like your, you know, your brick and mortar stores, you know, you wouldn't really, if you had it in a different bottle, be like, ooh, that's good, but sometimes Axe gets a bad name. Axe is a fantastic fragrance company or deodorant company, and there's lots of similarities there with fragrances, you know. So and that can be said for any of the fragrances. Remember, all these things, all this stuff is across the board is mixing different notes. You're going to have higher quality notes that are going to last longer, or more pungent notes. I don't even want to say high quality, because a lot of times, you know, notes can be listed, but that doesn't mean that that note is actually in there. There's a lot of things you can do to duplicate a note. For instance, the review I just did the other day of Lapidus, right? That fragrance, to me, I mean, and again, I'm not the expert here when it comes to this, but I smell civet. I mean, when I wear Zoologist Civet, I can tell you that those fragrances, they're totally different fragrances, but there is a civet note in that. But there is no civet, so or synthetic civet. So, you know, a lot of times when they layer notes, perfumers, and that's the cool thing about perfumery, is you can layer different notes to kind of duplicate other notes. It's like mixing colors, you know. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty fantastic. Definitely something I'm into, and I love adding a new fragrance to my collection. This is something I've definitely been enjoying wearing the last couple of days. Again, something that's not sexy. It's just clean. It's fresh. I do think it's a little mature, a little sophisticated, and I think it's something that goes well with everything. Definitely something you can wear winter, summer. It does not really matter. It is just a fantastic juice. So guys, check it out. Let me know what you think. If you have this, if you've worn this, if you have any questions, I'm always here to help. As always, click the link in the description if you want to make a purchase. I will link you guys to Amazon and eBay. Buy from where you feel most comfortable. Usually with my links, you're going to get a little bit better deal on eBay a lot of times, a couple dollars here and there. When you go to Amazon, you pay a little bit more, but you're going to get it a lot quicker. Amazon is just fantastic when it comes to getting stuff out. You know, for like when you order from eBay, you're looking at like 7 to 10 days to get it. With Amazon, I mean, you're probably going to get it in 3 to 4 days. So something to be said for that. It's so we know when we order online, we are very impatient. So check it out, guys. Awesome juice. Again, drop me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Check out some of the other fragrance reviewers on YouTube. To give it. Remember, these videos are only meant to give you guys a perspective my own opinion on these fragrances, and if we share kind of similarities with fragrances. And you know, I'm pretty open-minded, so it's always exciting to get something new. Sometimes I have ones that are like a company. I stay tuned for this. I asked how to say the name, but they told me, and I still don't. They only tell me the first syllable. So this is Sucleable. I believe it's a Washington State-based company, but I get a little more information from them. But they sent me what I'm going to call some very daring fragrances, ones that are not going to be appealing like this to everybody, but I love stuff like that. So stay tuned. I have at least, I think they sent me 10 fragrances. Some of the ones are like, you know, Blood Drop, and you know, what's the other one they sent me? Best way to describe those is like when you walk into, there's like an odor when you walk into like a Hot Topic. There's a very darkness to it. You know, there's a very eerie, dark, vampire-ish kind of feeling you get when going into stores, like very gothic, you know. And I feel like a lot of these fragrances are dark and just sexy in their own kind of way. So that's the cool thing about this stuff. I mean, there's so many cool fragrance companies out there. There's so many great values. I mean, cheapies, I mean, are fantastic, but then you have these companies like this that are just like you've never heard of. They're niche companies, and they make some really wild stuff that's just this really sexy, sophisticated. It's just a lot of fun for me, and I hope you guys share my passion with this stuff. So anyway, check it out, Ulysse by Vicky Tiel. Again, drop me a comment, drop me an email if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you like the content. As always, guys, have a wonderful day. No excuse for not smelling good, and take care. Happy weekend.